Expressed by the guests and contributors on Conklin Company are not necessarily those of 13ABC. Now, Conklin Company continues with Take 3, commentary and analysis from our panel of political contributors.
The sponsors, the charities, the beneficiaries, and then there is, of course, the golf that goes along with the Marathon Classic presented by Owens Corning and Owens, Illinois. And here to talk golf and perhaps some other sports topics of the day, two experts with us. 13 ABC Sports Director Dave Holmes. Remember, I called you an expert. You're going to rip me the next time on the news. And sports columnist, longtime scribe for the Toledo Blade. Good to have you, Dave. How many years now?
Oh, 30 plus. 30
plus.
Yeah.
Great to have
You've
you.
had all the important guys on. Now we'll whip you to the finish line.
This is called the anchor leg right
okay.
now. Now. We're coming around the clubhouse turn, ready to go, marching up the back nine here at Highland Meadows. We're taping here. First round going on right now. Never let them see you sweat.
Oh.
You know, as we Sunday morning should be better weather. Heat a factor. Dave, you're walking around this golf course all week long?
Yeah, I mean it is. When we played Monday morning in the Pro-Am, and it was almost this hot. It's a factor. The ball's going to fly a little bit more. But, I think these players play in this all the time. They play down south. A lot of them are from Texas and Florida. I mean, I think they're fine with this sort of weather for sure.
Yeah, Dave?
No, I agree. I think for an old fat guy like me, I don't want to be out there today, but it doesn't bother the players. And like Dave said, the ball compresses more in this kind of weather, flies further, and I don't think if anybody shot 77 today, if they come in and say it was the heat, they're lying.
Yeah. Always low numbers out here. I mean, you got to make a lot of birdies out here. Of course, it has a different name now. Jamie's name is no longer with it. That we've been down that road. Dave Hackenberg wrote a very interesting column how Jamie said it was time to go. They're this 80 years old, and as you know, this is a tiring week for him. But Marathon steps in, really, along with Owens Corning and Owens, Illinois. Does this tournament, along with being on the Golf Channel, bringing in a stronger field, is it now a more prestigious tournament year one? Okay.
Yeah, I think it's going to attract more players. I mean, if you look back a few years ago when Lorena Cho was setting the tour on fire, she actually paid a fee not to come here. I mean, it didn't have prestige of some of the top-level LPGA tournaments. They love Jamie. They love the hospitality here.
As we all do.
But bottom line, this is not the PGA where everyone makes $1 million. Purse has a lot to do with it. They're at 1.3 this year, which is tied for the biggest. It's going to get to 1.5 million. That brings players in. Even in the Pro-Am, I asked players about that, and I said, what's your favorite tournament? Most of the time, it was tournaments that paid more. They were very honest about that. They said it's not a huge standard of living out here compared to the men's tour.
Dave?
Yeah, I think, I mean, let's be honest. Jamie Farr is a tremendous human being.
No doubt.
Toledo favorite, favorite son, good friend of all ours. If you're running a tournament like this and you have a chance to pick up a sponsor that for multiple years is going to put $1 million plus a year into the tournament and they want their name on it, how big do you want the letters?
Right.
So and Jamie knew that. Yeah. And for the reasons you mentioned, I think you're right. He was ready to settle down a little bit, and I think it's worked out well for everybody.
Yeah, and as I'm going to ask you guys both to be Nostradamus here, because you can make a prediction here on Sunday. We can find out if indeed you're on the ball here as we tape here on Thursday. We have a leader on Thursday, Dave. Allison
Walsh. Yeah, just
Walsh.
fired a 65. She's 6 under. She's leading right now.
American golfer, right? But we know that the South Koreans have dominated this tour for a number of years. And Dave, who do you expect to be
they
there?
Dominated this tournament. Maybe
yes, they have more than any other one. Right,
tournament,
right.
Sure. Tour. Yeah.
And do you expect we'll see that leaderboard change as we work our way towards Sunday?
Well, I think you got to look at NB Park, and I have no idea what she's doing out there, but you got to look at her and the hot streak she's been on. Stacy Lewis, a Toledo native. Right. Number 2 player in the world. You got a great amateur out there in Lydia Co, the best amateur in the world. So I think it could be a lot of fun. And like I say, maybe tomorrow somebody shoots a 57 and it's over with. But
wouldn't that be fun though? I mean, 57?
Well, yeah, that would be fun too. But there's, as you said, this field's better than it's been for a number of years, and there's a lot of awfully good players, and it's going to be fun to see how it sorts out.
What about the state of the LPGA? It is global. So many tournaments are played overseas. And the pro that I played with this week, Amy Hung, said, I'd really like to see more tournaments played here. She's from Taiwan, Taipei, but which they want to see more tournaments here. Do you see it happening?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's headed in the right direction. The commissioner switch definitely made a big difference. It seems to be moving in a better direction. It's a lot more player controlled now. The players are very in on it. He's brought them in, and they have a lot to do with the decision-making process. They vote on a lot of the things that go on out here, so they're very active in it. And I think the general feel of the players is they'd like to play more American events. So I think if that's what they want, they seem to be under a regime now that's going to be more receptive to what they want. I think it's going to happen.
LPGA healthier now, Dave, than it was 2-3 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, if you go back 6 years ago, maybe, I don't think it's any longer than that, 5 years ago, there were 5 LPGA tournaments within 3 hours of Toledo.
That's right.
4 in Ohio plus 1 in East Lansing, Michigan. This is the only one that still exists. To the credit of Judd Silverman and
Right.
the depth of the corporate sponsorship they've had through the years, and now for Marathon to come on, it's the only tournament in the Midwest now. So I think the LPGA's concentration is in improving and increasing their domestic tournament inventory. I think they want to bring more back into this part of the country. It's a great golf area, and this was their bread and butter for 5 decades. I mean, the Toledos of the world are the places they thrived and they made their mark, and I think they're going to get back to that.
Fine, we only have less than a minute right now. Quick baseball, because I'm baseball crazy here, some of us. Indians, hang on, get tough, make it a race. Just hang on.
What are we doing?
Make it a race, quick.
Mud
Yeah,
hens
get
in
out.
the race.
Yeah,
They have a shot.
Okay. Yeah.
I think they'll hang on for a while. I don't. You compare the Indians and the Tigers rosters, pitching staffs, bullpens. I don't think it's anywhere close, and I think that'll be reflected in the second half of the season. But they might hang on for a while.
Okay, the shill for the Indians.
He just wants me to say it on camera. No, the Indians aren't going to hang around. I grew up in Northeast Ohio. You're going to be fine. You want me? This is therapy. You're going to be fine.
I think the Indians are going to make it tough. I think it's going
Let's
to go
hope
down
so.
to the final
I would
couple of
love
weeks
to
of the
see it.
season.
Yeah.
But just for all of us, it'll be a lot of fun.
If they do it, they get home field for the World Series.
That's right. Thanks to Jim Leland.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Right?
right. That's
Okay.
right.
Dave Hackenberg, thanks so much. Enjoy
Okay,
reading
Lee.
your stuff for decades now.
Thank you.
In the Toledo Blade. And Dave Holmes, we'll see you soon.
Yeah.
Guarantee that.
Promise.
Thanks for being here on Conklin
Yep.
and Company.
Thanks.
And that's going to do it for this edition of Conklin and Company from Highland Meadows Golf Club in Sylvania. Back in the studio, back to the political grind next week. Make it a great week, everybody. We'll see you next time on Conklin and Company.
Ever drive?